All right, hey folks, how's it going? Okay, we're middle of September here. I got a bunch of stuff to do on the farm. I thought I'd just give you a little bit of a tour as to what the state of everything is at. Check it out. I got a new shirt, Colors by Kathy. Very, very nice lady that I met at the farmer's market offered to make me some shirts. So I said, heck yeah. She was very upset that some of the bleach had run and it doesn't look perfect. And I was like, are you kidding me? I have so many flaws and my farm is so far from perfect that this is going to look like a tuxedo on me. So anyway, I'll show you what's going on and what I need to get accomplished. So do me a favor, stick with me. Okay, here we are. I really didn't pick any of the sweet peas that I grew. I'm hoping that some of these end up going to seed that I might be able to reuse for next year. What did I do? I took out a bunch of, I guess it was broccoli? That was cabbage that was in there, and I popped in some of my spare tomatoes, which are now looking all healthy right at the end of the year so that they can get frost damage. Some of the Salanova lettuce is looking just banging. Like, that stuff does not mind the cold, so I like it a lot. This broccoli has got to go, but I am going to do, I don't know, third, fourth, fifth harvest on a lot of this and just have a few of these just for, whatever, to throw in the freezer for winter. So like I say, there still is a fair bit, that's harvestable. Like, there's nothing really wrong with that. Look at those little water droplets. They look so nice. And so I'm going to get a bunch of this out because, as you can see, the dandelions have infiltrated. Now keep in mind that at the start of the year, this was all just, bare rows like that. So this is all first year weeds. First year weeds may look intimidating. And I might do a video on weeding, but they're not. They're really not. Like, I don't look at any of these dandelions and shake with fear. They only had this year to get their taproot growing. So I put a little fork on there and loosen it up. They're coming out and they're not coming back. And that was sort of the idea of putting in the time and effort to make this as weed-free as I did. A little bit of Salanova lettuce. And that's, we're getting darn close to harvest here, which is pretty cool. So the Swiss chard and the kale will stay until the snow takes it. I have been trying to take all the bottom leaves. The white cabbage bastard moth thing tends to feast on either young or the weakest links. So in the new growth, like, you can take a look in here, like, there's no eggs, there's no holes, nothing's eaten. It's healthy. When you get lower down on the stem, that's where they do their dirty work. So whether I'm harvesting it to sell or harvesting it just to throw over by the compost, anything like that is getting chucked out. Those tomatoes, I'll keep them in as long as I can, but I mean, in all honesty, if they last another week or two, I'm going to be shocked and amazed. My Brussels sprouts are looking like somebody shot them with a BB gun. Look at these poor things. I thought, having as many Brussels as I had, I was going to have an epic year for them. And it's not like they're a bad size. I might get a couple, but the bugs have just had at these. In all honesty, it is very, 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 very much a catch crop. If you worry about the white cabbage butterflies, moths, whatever you want to call them, cabbage lopers, and you don't overly care for Brussels, plant some of those because they love them. They love them more than they love cabbage, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, look at this, just decimated. Which is all fine and dandy because, again, I'm learning from that. So I might try and take off some of these leaves just to see if there's a few on there that I might be able to. Oh, look at the eggs and look at the eggs. Each one of those is going to turn into a beautiful little plant-eating green worm. You bastards. Oh, well. Live and learn. So next year I will be spraying a natural bacteria on there. The kale I wanted to bring up. This is winter boar kale. Anybody can get this kale. It's very hardy. It makes excellent kale chips because of the texture and the crispiness. This is Lacinato, Lacinto. I'll put it up on the screen. somewhere in here. This is dinosaur kale. And for whatever reason, the cabbage bastards really, really, really like this stuff. Like if you take a look, right? You know, versus that. Versus that, versus that. Another thing that I noticed is I harvested this dinosaur kale once this year to go to market. And there is a reason why I only did it once, is I got it to, that was one of my double market days. I got it to market, and about an hour to 2 hours in, personally, I was like, that's coming off my table. It just looked all wilted and sad, not crispy. I'm like, I can't sell that. So, you know, whatever. I put it in the shade, and I took it off my table. And of course, I just load up and I go to my second market. Oh my God. It looked so pathetic. To me, you grow that if you're looking to eat that tonight. And it's great. It's a great kale. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're growing that to sell, give your head a shake. There's so many better things to grow that are going to have a little bit of staying power. So, anyway, moving on. This was my lemon balm that I was unbelievably concerned would not come back after, if you recall, I planted it, and then the couple of late frosts killed a whole bunch of my brassicas. It cut these right back down to the ground. I had Brian from Allotment Life say, Ryan, come on, man, settle down. Settle down, son. Lemon balm is very, very hardy, and he calmed me down a little bit. And then when it started coming back, I was like, oh my God, he's right. And I am going to have a boatload of this that I'm going to be able to dry for me, for my teas that help with up here over the course of the winter. So I'm very excited about that. And I don't know if I'm going to put poly on it or row cover or just a whole bunch of leaves as mulch, but I would really, 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 really like to try to mulch this area, so that I have all of this come back next year. Again, the spare tomatoes that I put in, you know, like they're looking healthy. They really don't have a whole lot on them. They got a couple of tomatoes on them, and you know, I was chatting with a couple of friends that were, my tomatoes aren't going to ripen on the vine, and blah blah blah. You know, from all the reading I've done and from my experience, you know, once a tomato is developed, you're not getting any more sweetness out of letting it get red on the vine. To me, it's more of a economical way to store it, because if you just harvested all your tomatoes and let them ripen up as they want to do, where are you going to put those? Like, you would have to have a huge storage area. Leave it on the plant as long as you can. Pick them when they're ripe. This morning I watched one of Terry King's, you know, epic, you know, 28-minute, you know, garden walkarounds, and like he has entire trusses that are red. I'm taking stuff to market, so I'm picking the top red ones as they come. You can do whatever you like, but at the same time, like if you were to cut that entire truss when it was green and bring it inside, it is going to ripen up. You can make sauces, you can eat it, put them in salads. It's going to taste basically the same. So if you're worried that your tomatoes aren't going to ripen by the time winter comes, stop worrying about it. Harvest them, you're gonna have red tomatoes. My cilantro has been doing good. I've been harvesting a lot of that from market. I will try to clean that up a little bit. We'll see how long that lasts. Dill seems to do very, very well in the cold. And its smell, its scent intensifies. I know in my front yard I've had people walk by after a frost and just comment like, wow, your dill smells phenomenal. So I still have quite a bit of that. My parsley is going insane. I will be dehydrating an enormous amount of that. This was a late sowing of beets. I was really hoping, well, to learn, really, just, you know, what are my boundaries here? To see, like, how much of a beet would that, you know, would that provide? Is it just beet greens? Because there is a market for that. I also planted baby finger carrots. I'll have to look back and see exactly when I planted this type of stuff. But you know, I mean, these things are okay with a little frost. Okay, so we're starting to get a little love here. These baby finger carrots are only supposed to get 3.5-4 inches long, and then they'll bulk up a little bit. So to me, it looks like I got another 50 feet of beet and carrots that I'm going to be able to sell late into the year. This is the Johnny's Premium Mix loose leaf cut lettuce. So I've been going higher up and higher up and higher up on the plant as we do our harvests on this. And it is amazing stuff. I will absolutely grow that every single year. It still is not bitter. It is just fantastic. It has put out all year. Now keep in mind, I planted in the far row over there. I seeded another 7 or 9 rows of that in that 30-inch row, and that was horrible compost. I didn't get anything out of that, so I hoed it all down. Next year I will have this in a much better succession, and I will be using a greens harvester to save me the enormous amount of time that is hand harvesting. Another epic fail. I'm going to do a whole fail video. I might do a 7 or 8 part series on it. It'll be like analyzing my failures in depth. But this was a row of beans. My family and I might have had 3 harvests about this big. So obviously nothing that I was able to take to market. I also had another double row of beans up here. Did absolutely nothing in the terrible compost. So again, live and learn. These are the Mokum carrots. The nice long straight ones. They don't really get wide and go narrow like that, so to me those are great for pickling. Unbelievably sweet. That is a really large Mokum. They're usually 5-6 inches, so that is a variety that I will be growing again for sure. My beets, I have had some issues with field mice, and those little bastards prefer the largest, lushest, plumpest beets. They don't waste their time with the little ones that I don't want or can't take to market. They go for the big, nice ones. So I will have to think a little bit in the future about whether I just plant more, I have more successions of those going so that I can share a little bit with nature, or whether I just find a way to kill them. I'll think about that this winter. Another row of carrots, doing well. These is a Nantes or Nantes variety, depending on what part of the world and how fussy you are about pronouncing things with their French accent. But again, it starts kind of wide and narrows down to a point. They're great. They're sweet. They're bog standard. Is that the saying? Everybody has Nantes carrots. The reason why I've left this broccoli is this. Like, it's just a hive of activity. Like, if you, I don't know if it's picking it up with me talking, but the buzzing and the life that brings in. And I know that at this time of year, I don't need pollinators, but this isn't sort of a selfish game. It's not all about what I need. A lot of it's like, what do they need? I mean, they're trying to, look at how busy they are. They're trying to get ready for fall. They know what's coming. Well, it is fall. They're trying to get ready for winter. So I left those up for about as long as I thought I could. I am going to get those out of there so that I can come through here and fork the ground and do some weeding so that I can get a layer of manure on all these and get them prepped for next year. Here is my second sowing of spring onions. So I guess at the end of the day, I mean, these are cold hardy, so within the next, say, 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to be able to eat those, or I'll be able to take them to market. I'm not too fussed about it. More Salanova lettuce. This was my second planting. Some of the starts just didn't seem to take, right? Like, you know what I mean? Not 100% sure why some of these did as poorly as they did, but I mean, this is far more than enough. This is, I believe, Bronze Mijonette. It's either that or Four Seasons lettuce. They have really nice big leaves, but it's a very soft. It's not like a bib lettuce or a, even like a romaine where the leaves are like thick. So I don't think I'll grow these again next year. I'll pick something that has a little bit more crunch, a little bit more hardiness to it. I started a bunch of kohlrabis and popped those in an empty space. They seem to be doing just fine. I believe they're related, or they're in the brassica family. I know that the white cabbage butterfly moth bastards will kind of go at them a little bit. But at the end of the day, oh, look at you. You're just curled up hoping I don't find you. That was cruel, and I really like nature, but God, I hate those things. These should be fine. So again, they're cold hardy. So you know, if I give them another 3 or 4 weeks, you know, we'll be what, mid-October, and I should have a bit of harvest off of those. I look at my Brussels, like, look at them. Oh my goodness, they're so sexy. Until you get in here, and you're like, oh, look at it. Look at the eggs everywhere. Those are all gonna hatch. Look at the holes in the Brussels. So, again, if I have time today, I'll lop off a bunch of those branches. See if I can give them a little bit of air. Remove some of the eggs. We'll see how they do. I mean, I've learned a lot. Maybe next year I'll have a couple of nice Brussels. Yeah, I see you, William. I see you laughing. That's all good. It's all good. Here's my onions. They are still kind of bulbing up, which is nice because you know, if you happen to have followed along from the beginning of the year, when I put these things in, they were unbelievably tiny, and I was worried about it. I killed, what did I kill? About 1,800. I had onions started in trays, and I what are they, the 105 trays, so they're very small, and I had 5, 6, 7, 8 onions in each one. So there was a whole lot of root in there, not a lot of soil, and I let them get dry for an entire day. I came back, done. They was done. So this is my second sowing. These would have been far, far bigger if I had managed to not kill them. But I should have some onions. These are not going to market. These are just for the family. So I will wait until these things are all kind of laying over and not standing up proud. I'll get those harvested, get them dried, and then I'll string them up. Here's my leeks. Funny, I took a whole bunch of those to market, and man, they seem to go pretty good. They seem to go pretty good. I'm not 100% sure that I'll grow them again. It's a very low dollar value for the amount of space and the amount of time that they take up. But again, those are things that I had to learn. These squash here, I started a full 2 months after the crap bale experiment and put those in. Look at them. Look at them. They're loving it. They love life. They love the ground. They love the moisture. They're looking fantastic. Oh, are you going to pollinate for me? Are you pollinating for me? We are watching active pollination right now, people. Peeps. Oh, that's a patty pan if I ever saw one. Patty pan. So I got patty pans, and then I also have these straight yellow zucchinis, courgettes, if that's what you prefer. I do not. As you can see, I have I've put some rebar in the ground. Cut some rebar the other day with a metal cutting disc. Pounded it into the ground. This is 3/4 inch PEX water line that anybody in North America can pick up from Homo Dumpo or Lowe's or any of the other big box stores that obviously pay me a lot of money to slag their companies. It's not incredibly expensive stuff, and again, it's not going to hold a snow load, you know what I mean? And that's not the intention. The intention is to keep 3, 4, 5 frosts off of this crop. So I will today I'll finish getting those in. I picked up another 100 feet of this, and then I have enough poly from my greenhouses left over that I'm going to be able to put a little hoop over that, so a low tunnel, if you will. I did plant those and start these squash very, very late, and I knew that. I'm extremely thankful that I've had a little bit of September. Well, it's looking like I'm going to have basically all of September. So if with a little bit of season extension I can sneak a good part of October, I will actually get some decent harvest to take to market. And that's something that I've been missing, is color. If you take a look, most of what I've grown is green. So weird how we eat with our eyes, we purchase with our eyes. I will put a lot more effort into having not just green on my table next year. This is the rest of the absolute crap compost that I purchased from D&M out of Lacombe. I don't even mind saying their name. It's just shit compost. And if I get strikes against me for swearing, I really don't care. It's shit compost. The the squash did poorly until they were able to grow through that and into the ground, and then it was funny. You could just see them perk up, right? These cabbage that I planted late, had I done something similar to this and hooped them, so that there was no chance of the cabbage moth bastards getting them, those by the end of October would have given me some cabbage, which is unfortunate. I plugged these guys in very late, knowing that they wouldn't go very well. I've hoed this a couple of times. I've hoed this a couple of times. This was a spinach bed. I did. What did I do? I did. I don't know. It was probably 7 rows of spinach here and 7 rows of spinach there. I have that spinach, this spinach, one in the middle, and one on the far end, and that was it. So I've hoed those down the last little bit. This was 2,000 radishes. What do you get? 2,000 radishes in crap soil. You get I don't know, 20 crap radishes. So note to self, cheapest isn't always better. I know that I'm on it like a no budget. I don't have any money. I'm broker than the 10 Commandments. I'm so broke, I can't even pay attention. It's pathetic, and that's my fault, and it's not anybody else's, but at the end of the day, I've been trying to do all this on like a shoestring. And, you can't do that. Like the foundation of a building, right? If you could build a $4 million mansion house, and if you put it on sand, it's not going to last, right? Everything's only as strong as its foundation, and what's that? A chain's only as strong as its weakest link. So, when you're planting into a medium, if it's absolute crap, you can't expect great things out of the harvest. So, these are all the true potato seeds. The first year tubers, the first harvest tubers, I planted all those. These I'm going to do a video on probably today, and I'm harvesting all of these so I can clean up this area. The tomato greenhouse. Yeah, baby. If you find this anywhere near as attractive as I do, you might need a minute. Oh, this looks so good. Not overly happy with my better boys. I'm not sure I'm going to use saved seed again. I will be adding to all these beds another fresh thing of some manure or compost. And we will have another go at this. But I still have a ton of basil going on in here. I have some Salanova lettuce that's looking for a second cut, and I think with the greenhouse, I should be able to keep these. Patty from Spring Hill Farms, who's a friend, an inspiration, a mentor to me, has said that she, in an unheated greenhouse in northern Ontario, so a little warmer than me, but not a whole lot, she's harvesting. Letting them get red on the vine and harvesting right into December. So we're going to try it this year. I freaked out last year and I harvested everything when that big frost was coming, which was cool because that was a day before. So that was September 13th last year that it snowed and it crushed in my greenhouses. You can go ahead and bring it, nature. Go ahead and bring it. Like, seriously, bring it. You snowed 2.5 feet of wet snow right now, these greenhouses would still stand. So bring it. All right, so there's tons of other projects, but I mean, this is dragging on. I'll try and keep you guys posted all through the fall, even though there's less and less things. I will obviously have I'll have a lot more time to be, checking up and watching some of my friends, that also do gardening vids. I do feel marginally bad that I haven't been able to get around to everybody's channels, but it's just so busy trying to get to market and trying to do everything. I'm kind of a solo show. The wife has helped out a bit this year, which, thank you. I very, very much appreciate that. But, it's kind of funny. I mean, I've the people that I have tried to get by tend to be like the smaller channels because, a guy like Terry King, he's a great guy and everything. It's just he's got, millions of views and thousands of subscribers. He doesn't need Ryan to come watch. Not that anybody does, but I mean, some of the smaller channels, like a Benny L or an ACS or I don't know. There's a whole bunch of the smaller channels that I remember when I had, a much, much smaller channel and somebody that had a bigger channel would come by and watch. I just remember how much it meant to me. So I'll err on the side of watching the smaller folks as opposed to the bigger ones at this time of year. And most of you know that my winters are very, very long. So, I get a little stalker-ish in the winter. When are you putting out another video? I'm jonesing for some gardening. But hey, folks, if you did stick with me through this garden tour or ramble, I really do appreciate it. These are videos that, like they're never ever they don't have a chance of going viral. Like walk through a garden. Like how many people do that? Everybody. So for those of you that are following along, it's because you're following along, and I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you. Okay, thank you kindly. I'll see you on the next one. Have an awesome day. Love you guys.